This kid's fire.
What's that? What's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother? Brother, what's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother? Brother, what's that? What's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother? Brother, what's that, brother? What's that? What's that, brother?
Yes, people, welcome back to another episode of El Bin's Man on the Monday morning. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Smash these likes up, man. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new today. Happy times, Glaze Sesh. Let me do some shout outs and we'll get stuck in. Shout out to Farid, shout out to Ritesh, Sam, Connor, Mike, Aravind, Aiden. Big up to Sam, Yannick's there, Musa, Marcel, Okayness, Citizen, Ashaz, Riddle. Who else is in there? ANQ, Stefan, Orvida Zane, Lee. Big up to you guys, man. Smash these likes up on the way in. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. City top of the league. Woo! Fucking hell. I know it's only match day one and that, you know, it's a bit shameless, but
stop the count. Call the season off.
Exactly, man. Exactly. It's good, wasn't it?
Yes, very good, very lovely. There's so much to talk about. In respect of like loads of the performers, it looks like we're going to be focusing more so on the new signings today. But yeah, I thought basically everyone looked really good. I love the setup that we used in possession. I love the setup we used off ball. I thought we looked really strong in respect of our pressing as well. We got so many of the basics right as well. And that might not be like a sexy thing to talk about, but the amount of errors, like schoolboy stuff, I think like Bernardo described it at times last season, have like really bizarre little things that went wrong last season. Again, I know it's only match week one, whatever, but we did the basics right as well. And just like, again, that sounds really stupid and like, yeah, well, obviously, we didn't do that last season. So yeah, we did so much right. And yeah, there's loads to discuss here. Very, very promising start to the season.
What stood out for you that you wanted to talk about, maybe other than maybe the Reinders, obvious glaze? Is there anything that like you looked at the game and thought, ooh, didn't see that coming, or anything that you was particularly impressed with?
Yeah, so yes, without trying to talk about Reinders, it was obviously man of the match. Nico Gonzalez was my honourable mention for man of the match. I know he's also technically it's not a really new signing because we brought him in Jan, but there were lots of, in my opinion, unfair question marks about him as a player and as a signing that I was seeing over the past few weeks. People making up lies about his abilities. People saying that he literally can't progress playing, can't carry, which is insane because he's a really good ball carrier. And we saw that. And again, people need to understand that he's not a defensive midfielder. He's doing his best job. And I know it's only match week one, but it already looks like he's developing and is improving massively. There's still some areas that he needs to work on, but that's going to come with time and coaching. And who do you want to be coaching your defensive midfielder? You want it to be Pep Guardiola, don't you? So hopefully that's only going to get better. Oscar Bob, sorry to be like, like one of those cliched pundits, but he is like a new signing, isn't he? He was supposed to be our main guy last season, I think. And he's and there were question marks from me as well, to be fair, because I was like, from what I've seen, he's brilliant, but it's obviously a small sample size. So how is that going to translate on a more consistent basis, or just like in the Premier League getting a start? And yeah, he looked absolutely fantastic. He looked right at home on that right side. And if we're losing Savio, then obviously that loses one of our right wing options. So it's vital that he's able to play off that right side. And I thought that he looked amazing, to be honest with you. The dribbling was lovely. I keep wanting to talk about Randis, but we're going to talk about that later. But yeah, the relationship with him was amazing. Rico Lewis, who needed to have a good game, again, based on like the critique from the City fans in the wake of like his link to Forest. I thought he was amazing as well. He was cropping up everywhere. Sometimes he was between the centre-backs. Sometimes he was deep in midfield. Sometimes he was advanced left. For the first goal, he was advanced right. He allows City to play in a totally different way. And that doesn't mean he has to be the starting right back. Doesn't mean you have to start him every single week at right back. But it's good to know that he is a viable option there against some teams and as a really good tactical tool. Yeah, I totally agree with Bradley. Yeah, that they had a really nice connection, didn't they? Reinders, Rico, and Bob. Yes, there's so much to talk about. I think we could do like a show on like each individual player if we really wanted to, because there's obviously the start of the season, so there's so much to say. Yeah, I was just like very happy again with the setup from Pep. We did what we saw back end of last season, and when we were really good in the Club World Cup, the 2-3-5 on ball, more of a 4-3-3 shape off ball. I really think that is the ceiling of this squad, and I really hope that we continue to do that. There's different ways and avenues that we can get into those structures. This was one of the ways where we had double inverting fullbacks. We know we've touched it, we've seen it. There's also worlds where we can have double overlapping fullbacks as well. Yeah, John Stones was amazing. There's so many options, I think, and it's always good to have options because it keeps the opponent guessing.
Nah, facts. Yeah, let's speak about that whole midfield, right? Because I think if you think about last season, that midfield was probably the main area of concern. Now, as we spoke about at the time, yeah, the whole team was an area of concern, defense, midfield, and even the attack. But the midfield was a major problem. And we didn't even have Rodri back in there on Saturday. However, it was light years away from what we were seeing last season. You know what I mean? Bernardo was back in there and he had probably his best game in over a year, in my opinion. Bernardo Silva, I thought he played really well on Saturday. Best performance in probably about a year. Nico Gonzalez, I thought was fantastic. Absolutely incredible. And yeah, I'm another person like you who actually thought it was pretty good last season anyway. That's why I was so frustrated when he wasn't in the team towards the end of the season, because I thought he was playing all right. However, Nico Gonzalez on Saturday, in my opinion, put in his best performance in a Manchester City shirt. I don't even think it's close. And you know what I said I think it was yesterday, I think I said it, is you know what I seen from Nico Gonzalez on Saturday? I saw a player, Nobbins, that has been coached. He has been coached. And you don't see a lot of that nowadays. Players come in, and, you don't really see like an actual technical coaching. You might see them like, run more or work harder or whatever. I'm talking about, I've seen a player there in Nico Gonzalez that you can clearly see has been coached by Pep Guardiola over the last couple of months. Yeah. And that performance was incredible. He won 10 out of 11 ground duels. Yeah. His physicality was really, strong. You know what I mean? He was winning a load of battles. His ball carrying ability is class. His passing's class. And I think he did a really solid job. Yes. And I was listening to your show on Saturday night, right? And
what a QC.
You said this. You said it right about the DM. We're not going to be able to buy a DM because they're not going to play. So you have to buy 8 that can do the job at 6. All we're looking for from Nico Gonzalez is, can he just do the basics? Can he just be competent? I'm not looking for Rodri 2.0. And if you are, you're deluding yourself, and you're going to be ending up in disappointment, because he's never going to be as good as Rodri. He won't get anywhere near him. What we're looking for is, can he do a job? Just like when Gundogan used to play there back in the day. Yeah, Gundogan used to do the job, right? And it was, can Gundogan do a job? And, he did do a job. Can Nico Gonzalez be good enough to do a job? Calvin Phillips couldn't do a job. Yeah, when he played, we were shit and he was crap, so he couldn't do the job. Nico Gonzalez, to me, looks like a player that can do that, and he'll get game time. He can play in absence of Rodri. He can play next to Rodri as well, and that should really work. But I'm just buzzing to see a player that's been coached, and like everything that he was doing was just, a little bit better than last season. Just a little bit, everything, receiving the ball a little bit better, driving forward with it a little bit better, winning his ground duels a little bit better, physicality a little bit better. Everything was just a little bit better, and he put in a top performance. And for me, he was up there with man of the match. Obviously, he didn't get it because Reinders got it, but he was definitely up there as a player that had Reinders not stacked out with a G&A, he probably would have been in the conversation. And that's really important because we're gonna need him, because nobody knows, no one can guarantee me now what's going to happen with Rodri. Yeah, he's already come back from the injury once and picked up an injury. He might pick up another one, and we can't just go through the season and go, well, if Rodri doesn't play, with cut like last year, or even the season before when he got sent off, we lost all 3 games. So I think Nico Gonzalez is a massive, massive part of this Manchester City squad, and he needs, we need him to stay fit, and we need him to keep playing and do well, man. But yeah, that was nice. But yeah, the coaching thing. Did you see that as well? Did you clock that it clearly been coached?
Well, yeah, 100%. I think that you like mentioned, like winning the ground duels, and of course he was really good defensively and out of possession as well. What I was most impressed with, and I guess like what is the trickiest bit of being a Guardiola defensive midfielder is the ability to receive it under pressure, really deep, and then carrying it through the centre from a deeper starting point, and also being under pressure as well. He completed more dribbles than Doku. He like did 5 out of 5 take on. He attempted 5 take-ons and he succeeded in 5 take-ons. Like as early as like the 27th second, he was doing that. He was like baiting out Wolves players and then just gliding past them, despite how much pressure they were putting on him. Your point on the coaching is really interesting because, when we had that open training session a week or so ago, whenever that was, I didn't watch it personally, but I did like a live show afterwards, and people were telling me about it. I saw stills from it, and people saying, Pep was coaching Nico on you, like, this is how you should be playing, like under pressure with your back to the opponent and and people were interpreting, and some people were interpreting that as like a negative for Nico. It's like, that means Nico can't do it. Like, why does he have to be coached to do that? It's like, so what we're doing there is we're eliminating all forms of coaching then. Like, no play is perfect, and they will need to be taught how to do it. I just thought that was a really weird way to have a dig at Nico. If anything, it's a positive. It's something that is coachable. It's something that can be worked on. And as you rightly said, we literally saw it against Wolves, the amount of times where, again, like he could have been surrounded by 2. There was a moment where he was surrounded by 3 players, and he was still able to, calmly take it and then thread it through and get City back up the attack and break those lines really quickly, which what we see Rodri do. So it's early days, obviously. It's only the first game of the season, but the signs are really encouraging. And once again, we don't need him to be Rodri. We just need him to be, serviceable. The word you used, absolutely competent. That's all I need. And again, there is room for growth. I still think he needs to work on his positioning, for example. And again, this is normal. He's an 8, not a 6. He sort of there was a moment where I think Doku had the ball, and Aït-Nouri and Nico were really close to each other. I didn't feel like they had to be that tight to one another. Like Nico should have given Aït-Nouri a bit more space. And then Doku plays the ball, and Aït-Nouri and Nico are a bit confused. Aït-Nouri leaves it. He thinks Nico's going to get it. Nico leaves it. He thinks Aït-Nouri's going to get it. And then Aït-Nouri has to do a really late lunging challenge to get out of danger. So some stuff does need to be worked on. There were moments, again, where Haaland wanted it, and I think Rodri would have played those balls. Nico didn't see it or didn't feel up for doing that pass. So things can always get better. There is room for improvement, but the early signs are really, really encouraging. And hopefully now everyone who was like anti-Nico can now back him and see that there's clearly a good player here. He just needs like patience and he needs our support. And he needs to be surrounded by the correct midfield partners as well. I wouldn't want a midfield of like Nico and Kovacic and Shirky or whatever. I think that would be a bit weird. But, like Nico with Reinders, that makes perfect sense.
Well, what did you think about the overall balance of that midfield? Because before the game, I saw the starting 11. I looked at the midfield because I like the starting 11. I thought the starting 11 was good. I didn't really have anything to say about it. I thought, solid, should win the game. The only thing I thought about it was, do we have enough creativity in that midfield? And I feel like it was heavily reliant on Reinders, and obviously Reinders performed. But if Reinders didn't if we go into another game with that midfield and maybe Reinders doesn't have a great game, do we have enough from the other two players to supplement and actually create some chances? Because, for example, right, if you was to play, say you play Rodri, Bernardo, and Reinders, Rodri can create as well, as you just said a minute ago. So that's the only thing with that midfield. I think it's a pretty good midfield in terms of like defensive side of the game. It's pretty good on the ball. It's obviously fantastic, but I'm just worried that you're putting a lot of pressure on Reinders to deliver that creativity, which he obviously did do, and that's fucking incredible. We'll come on to that in a minute. But if he doesn't, I'm a little bit concerned that like you're then heavily reliant on your wingers. Do you know what I mean? Like, what do you think? Do you think there's enough there with Bernardo and Nico to sort of provide chances if Reinders was to have enough? Because basically what I'm trying to say is Reinders isn't going to play like that every single game, right? Hopefully he fucking does, yeah, because he was absolutely incredible. But I'm just concerned if we go into that again and again and again, if Reinders doesn't play well, do you think we've got enough there with Bernardo and Nico?
It's tricky. I think that I was also happy with the midfield. Like, in fact, when I did my tactical preview, that was the midfield that I actually chose. But the main reason why I chose that was because I was thinking, like, I want to have the best Rodri-less midfield, and I want to make sure we don't go back to the eras of the past where we got totally overrun in midfield. So my focus was more so on like being relatively conservative in the middle when Rodri isn't in the side. So I think that I'm going to have a splinter at my arse. I'm going to sit on the fence a little bit. I think it depends on the availability of City's players. So and the opposition as well. So I don't think that midfield three is what you want necessarily week in, week out every single time, because obviously you want Rodri in there. But I do think it's sort of necessary to protect Nico, just like spoken about how impressed I was with Nico. I still think it's important that in these earlier stages of him, learning the Rodri role, whatever, I think he needs a bit more support and a bit more protection. And I don't think that right now it would make sense to, take out Bernardo for a more offensive player. I think that would probably ruin the balance a little bit in the early stages. Now, that might be something that we can look at, in a few weeks or a few months, like if Nico gets more accustomed to it. It's certainly something we can do if Rodri's available. And you can have Rodri, Reinders, and then another more offensive midfielder. But I don't see why those as a three can't work if you can because you can also get Shirky on the pitch quite easily. You would have to just like in respect of like the personnel on Saturday, you just have to take Bob off, but you can get Shirky on, play Nunes instead, get Shirky into central areas. So there is definitely a world where if that midfield is struggling creatively, you can create it elsewhere on the pitch. I do take your point though that on paper it's not the most naturally progressive in respect of that creativity, like Bernardo in particular. I don't know if we're going to talk about Doku today, but I did feel like whereas Bob was getting a lot of support from Reinders, Doku less so from Bernardo. There was only maybe one or two moments where Bernardo was properly offering himself by pushing forwards and helping out. So that would need to change. And I think that Bernardo would need to be a bit more switched on in respect to the offensive nature. So it could, that's a very long-winded answer, but I guess it could work. It would require, against better opponents, I think, for Shirky at least to be on the pitch. I think, and also I'm probably Nunes on the pitch.
That's what I'm thinking, because basically I'm looking at our wingers, and obviously Doku doesn't really get that much output. Savio's going, and obviously Bob's just coming back from a fucking leg break. And as much as I fucking glaze the guy, I think he's the best winger at the club, I'm also not looking at him to carry our whole creative line. So yeah, for me, what I'd personally like to see is if we are going with that midfield, I'd like to see Cherky start on one of the wings, just to top up the sort of creativity side. But as in that game, it wasn't even needed because Reinders did actually perform, which we'll come on to in a sec. Shout out Chris, who says, give Nico 1 or 2 years, nobody can coach a six better than Pep. Yeah, I mean, if he's already performed like that after 6 months, yeah, imagine what he's going to do with, like you say, a season or 2 seasons under his belt, bro. That's the thing. And yeah, people was going way too ham on him last season, man. People saying like he was shit and all that kind of crap. Like,
I don't know. I'm not being funny. Like, I don't know what people were watching, because I thought whenever he played, he was good. Like against Newcastle, that was like one of our best games, and like Nico started, and I thought he was really good. I didn't really understand where the hate was coming from it was really odd to me. I was quite, because you've also got to remember he came in January into a dysfunctional City side where the midfield was shafted, and he was expected. Were people thinking he'd come in and we'd like go back to title challenging ways? Him playing a position that isn't his. That was never going to happen. So I thought in that context he played quite well.
Yeah. No. I agree. All right, let's do some Reinders glazing then. We waited long enough. 46 million quid, I think they're saying, was the actual like base fee for Reinders. AC Milan signed him from there. Wow. I mean, that was some Premier League debut for Reinders. Absolutely superb. I mean, that first goal, it's just incredible. The quick feet to skip past the two players, and then the confidence. And that's what it is for me, the confidence. I mean, we go back to last season and we speak about the midfield and that. It's like a lot of the problems I felt was just a confidence issue, that the players didn't have the confidence to play the passes that they needed to pass. So they played the safe pass. Reinders has come in off the back of an incredible personal year. Obviously not a great year for AC Milan, but a great personal year for AC Milan. And he's coming to the team and he's got the confidence to play that pass over. It also helps when you've got runners like Rico Lewis. Brilliant bit of play. Obviously sets the second one up for Haaland as well. Scores his own goal, which is a great finish. Doesn't take a touch again. No need to take a touch. I'm just hitting it first time. You know, confidence is such an important part of the game. And like, I feel like a lot of part last season was a confidence issue. A lot of it. You know what I mean? The players were just not got the confidence, and they didn't have the confidence to play the forward passes. So they go backwards, which would cause our own fucking problems anyway. You know what I mean? And oh man, he was absolutely superb. And yeah, it's just brilliant, man. And what a signing! 46 million quid.
Yes, dumb. Yeah, he should have gone on for a lot more than that. Yeah, there was like a big reason why I was so excited by him. The reason why he was like the signing I was most excited by for City, because I felt like he was going to be the most transformative. I think we will see that this season. He is already one of the best midfielders in the world, and he's only going to get better under Guardiola. I'm very convinced of that. He did a fantastic impression of like Gundogan, like prime Gundogan on Saturday, like with the goals he was scoring. What I was really interested by was his starting position. So for Milan, he tended to start left of centre with his partner Fofana right of centre, and so like whenever you saw like the majority of like, you know, predicted City 11s, or, you know, or like dream City 11s, like the vast majority had Reinders out on that left side, which is perfectly reasonable, of course. But I really like him when he plays out on that right side as well. I think that there's a different dimension to his dribbling out on that right side as well. I think we saw that from the first goal as well. But the beauty of that is it doesn't really matter where he plays, left of centre or right of centre, because his weak foot is so good, evidenced by, you know, his weak foot goal, which was fantastic. That gives City so many different. I was touching on Lewis earlier with how many like tactical options it gives City. It gives City so many different midfield tactical options as well, because now it's like, well, it doesn't really matter where Reinders plays. He can play on the left, he can play off the right. So it's like, well, we know Reinders is playing, but like, where does he go? It doesn't really matter. He can go deep left centre, deep right centre, more offensive left centre, and as against Wolves, more offensive right of centre as well. Fantastic progressor of the ball, really brave dribbler as well. I think that the whole team just looks more secure and confident of themselves defensively, and that allows our players to actually have the confidence to take those risks in the centre and dribble through the opponents. And that's obviously how we scored that first goal, with him baiting and then dribbling through. He's going to be a superstar, I think, at City. And
I think he is.
Yeah.
He's got everything that he needs to, Nobbins, bro. Like,
yes, yeah, he's even better than I thought he was going to be. I knew he was going to be good, but he's even better than I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, because it's the quality's there. See, this is what I'm saying. It's like, it's all about players, man. It's all about the players, and this is why I said it, and I'll say it again. Last season, when everyone was fucking slagging Pep off loads, I was like, it's the players are not good enough, man. You buy quality players. We've just bought a Serie A midfielder of the year, put him in our team, and everyone's going, wow, fucking he's mint, isn't he? Yeah, yeah, he is, because he won fucking Serie A midfielder of the year. Of course he's fucking mega. What are you talking about? He's a class player, man. Do you know what I mean? And the thing is, yeah, when you watch it, I watched him for AC Milan at the end of last season. he just had everything in his game. I was watching him thinking, right, okay, he was able to pass the ball from deep, so he's able to do like long passes and get the ball directly to the striker. He's able to do the little short, intricate passes. He's a ball carrier, which not a lot of people actually spoke about. Everyone was just comparing him to Gundogan, but Gundogan doesn't do that as much as Reinders. Yeah, and he's got quality. He's got quality on the ball. So he'll create chances. He'll score goals. So then when you, and that's not glaze, that's just all facts. So then when you put that all together and go, right, we're going to take you from the AC Milan team, which wasn't a good team last year. Yeah, bad year for AC Milan, where you got midfielder of the year, and then stick you in a new Manchester City side that's been rejuvenated. What's going to happen? What's the most likely outcome? It's probably that he's going to fucking cook. And look at that. First game of the season, the guy absolutely slams it. And yet you are right. For AC Milan, when I watched him, he was always on the left-hand side majority of the time.
Yeah. But then the good news is that he can do right. He can do off the right. Like he's done it for AC Milan. He's done it for the Netherlands. He's now evident. He's now proven that he can also clearly do it for City as well. So like when we're now constructing our sides, it's not like, oh, Reinders has got to play left of centre. Now we can go out. Well, actually, it doesn't really matter. He can do right of centre as well because his weak foot is so good. Again, it's not a Shirky level of strong weak foot, but it's still incredibly good. And again, you don't score goals like that off your weak foot first time if you're not confident in using that weak foot. So yeah, that angle bias doesn't really exist for a player like Reinders. So it's an incredibly, such a useful asset for squad building, such a brilliant tactical tool. And he's sort of like the perfect Pep City midfielder, to be honest with you. It's incredibly exciting what he can offer. We saw his defensive work in the Club World Cup. We've seen his offensive work in the Premier League. That's the good thing. He can play deeper if you need him to be. He can play more central if you need him to be. He can play more offensive if you need him to be. He really has all of those traits. So it's an ideal signing, really.
I know, and I know we spoke about this before, but when he gets in that team with Rodri and Rodri's like fully on it, oh my God. Bro, yeah, I'm so excited to see a fully fit Rodri and Tijani Reinders in that midfield. Like,
that's the best midfield in the world. I keep saying it, but that is the best midfield in the world. Quite comfortably as well.
That's mint because last year we had one of the worst midfields in the world. You know, that's just a fact. You know what I mean? So the extremes are absolutely incredible. Yes. You know what I mean? Yeah, and I can't lie. Watching Newcastle last year, watching PSG, you know, I was longing for a nice midfield, for a good midfield. And when we get that Rodri Reinders combination, that's going to be scary. That's going to be scary, man. But we need Rodri to get that fit first. So yeah. But for fantastic performance from Reinders, great bit of business from Manchester City. Viana, well done on that one. Great price as well, like freaking unbelievable. And quality players. Yeah, we're back to buying better players instead of buying random fucking guys who are not good enough. And all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Look at the performance that he's put in. That's what you need to be doing. You got to buy the best players. That's how you win football matches. That's how you win titles. That's how you win Champions League, by buying the best players. That's just how it is. And we bought the midfielder Serie A of the year, and he's mega. So, yeah, there we go. Lads, can we settle on his name though? Are we saying Tijani? Are we saying Reinders or Tijani?
I don't think I've ever said Tijani personally.
Yeah, I've said TJ.
TJ. Yeah, Reinders is 2 syllables. Tijani is 3. So I'm going for the lazier route.
Yeah. I'll big up Bevo in the chat, man. Yeah, smash these likes up if you've not done so already, man. Smash the likes. Make sure you guys are subscribed as well. Plenty more to talk about on the show. Big up Piplup, man, says Doku's unpredictability has become predictable. He's the most frustrating player ever to watch. I don't think he suits the team. Won't be surprised if he's gone next summer. Much love, Baldy and Nobbins. I think he will be sold next year, to be honest. I think this year people will go, yeah, not enough. You can't be giving him a 4th season if he doesn't perform this year. And I just don't think he will. I don't think he will. I don't see why all of a sudden, after he's got 1 assist to Haaland in 2 years, I really struggle to see how it's all of a sudden in the 3rd year he's just going to start supplying. But let's see what happens, man. Hopefully it does work, but I don't personally see it. I think he'll be sold next summer, in my view.
That's fair. So I'm going to be more hopeful. I liked his Club World Cup performances. I'm more hopeful that we'll see more of that across the season. But I don't disagree, though, that if he has a bad season this year after relative, whatever you want to say, like relative underperformance or being subpar, whatever, or not the level that we may have liked to have seen, then yeah, I would accept that he would need to probably be moved on at that point.
You can't give a player 4 years. It's ridiculous.
No, I totally agree. Yeah, I will. I'm going to be hopeful that he can have a good season this year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, me too. And I agree. Club World Cup, I thought it was very good.
Mhm.
But yeah, it wasn't good against Wolves. Big up Pitbull says, can't talk about slagging Pep off when we both wanted him sacked for Vinny. Was a big fan of Stones. He's easily our best centre back, so fluid and smart. I didn't want Pep sacked. Yeah.
Damn, fake news.
Yeah, that's fake news.
It's
But
fraudulent activities.
that is fraudulent from Piplup, bro. No, but on the Stones note, Stones, yeah, bro, I've said this for time. Stones is easily our best centre back. It's not even.
Mm.
It's not even close, bro. In my opinion, honestly, I think Stones is clear of all our setup. I think he's clear of Gvardiol as well. Not saying something because he's mega, but Stones fully fit, just class, man. He's just mega, and he's so important to the team. Yeah, the way that he drives forward with it. Yeah, the way that he can play out from the back. And you know what's something underrated about John Stones as well? He's actual defending. He's
Mhm.
actually a mega defender. I think because he's mint on the ball and shit. Like people maybe don't even like accept his sort of like defensive sort of attributes, but he's actually mint at defending. You know, he is. He put a
Yes.
huge block in against Wolves on Saturday. So yeah, if we can keep him fit, yeah. And I'm telling you this now, yeah. I said it yesterday, but if he goes to that England qualifiers to play against Andorra and Serbia, then that is just poor from everybody involved. Yeah. He
Mhm.
doesn't need to go. There's no need for him to go to play against Andorra and Serbia. Absolutely ridiculous. So if he gets picked for that, I'm going to be pissed off, man. Yeah, he should be saying it to Tuchel, mate. I'm sorry, but last season I was getting paid 250 grand a week or whatever, and I played 1,000 minutes. Yeah, I've just come back. I've got myself in the team. I can't go to England and play against Andorra and Serbia because if I do and get injured, then I'm cooked. Yeah, and Tuchel shouldn't need to play him. He doesn't need to play Stones. He doesn't need to play Stones to beat Andorra and Serbia. Yeah. And what does he want to see? He wants to know what Stones is like. Like he's never seen Stones play football before. So I
Yeah.
just think everyone should just say, listen, Stones is obviously going to the World Cup at the end of the season if he's fit. If he's fit, he'll be there 100%. Yeah. So just don't pick him, man. There's no need.
Yeah. No,
There's no
I
need.
totally agree. I think Stones has got to. He should say like, look, if you're going to select me, whatever, but please, can you just like leave me out because I'm trying to sort my body out essentially. And you're absolutely right, especially against. I might be disrespecting them too much. Are Andorra, do they have all? Are they an all professional team, or are they a nation who have some like non-professionals involved?
I'd be surprised if they're a full nation of
Because they're obviously a very small. Because
tiny, innit?
the point I was going to make is that obviously like if you're not a professional like defender, then you're obviously not going to be. You're more liable to like injure other players. I don't know if that's a fair point to make. So apologies if I'm underselling Andorra there. Sorry if you're from Andorra. Yeah, I totally also take the point about Stones. He's like the Stones without an injury is like the Pogba on his day sort of thing. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
if he's available and fit, then he is probably City's best defender. Everything combines, like the off ball and the on ball all together. Even against Wolves, like he was just like popping up in like really offensive zones, just like popping in like crosses as well. I just thought that was really interesting. Again, his ball progression has always been fantastic, and yeah, he was a massive miss last season. Even for him, like the injuries last year were mental. I don't know if he's had a year as bad as that in respect of his injuries or missing games.
That was definitely, bro. I always say he played less minutes than Grealish last year.
Yeah, that is mental,
Which
isn't it?
tells
Yeah,
you
so
all you need to know. Yeah.
even bad for, and again, he's injury prone, but that was even bad for him. So if we can have like, again, even if he's only available for like half of the games or whatever, then that's a massive difference between that and last season. Another one. It'd be really interesting to see like if everyone is fully fit, how does Pep view it at the back? Like what does he view his best centre back partnership? You know, like if Stones is massively performing, does he think, well, I can't drop Stones, but Gvardiol's left footed, he's my best left centre back.
Does it also depend on who's in goal though? Because for me, if you've got Donnarumma in goal, does that not increase your desire to maybe play Gvardiol and Stones and have better ball playing centre backs than maybe a Diaz? Because Diaz and maybe Ake are probably the worst players in that sort of centre back group on the ball. Yeah. So if you've got Trafford, who's better on the ball, yeah, you can play maybe Gvardiol and a Diaz or a Stones and an Ake or whatever, right? Because you've got a ball player in the centre back position and you've got a ball player in there. If you've got Donnarumma, then obviously he's not great on the ball. So would that not then push you towards maybe stressing it a little bit more and having Stones and Gavardio just to give you sort of that more of a build-up option rather than just having what? Because if you play Donnarumma, say you play Donnarumma, Gavardio, and the Diaz, right? You basically got one good player on the ball in that sort of
like an elite ball player. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah. It's a really interesting question, and it's something that like I think we as City fans have been trying to contemplate. Like with it seems like it's inevitable now to happen, going from one extreme to another of like the best ball playing goalkeeper to like one of the worst at this level. And again, like every single player has a weakness. It's all about, you know, can you platform? What's the best way you can platform them to maximize them? And I would agree, like the best way to maximize Donnarumma whilst not entirely sacrificing build up would be to overly compensate by playing better ball players. Absolutely. Probably also need to drop a midfielder as well. So if Rodri's not available, Nico really needs to really lock in and get better at that as well. We know that Reinders can probably do that as well. So yeah, I mean, Gavardio, it's a non-negotiable for me. If Donnarumma's playing, you would need a left-footed left centre-back. Absolutely. And yeah, maybe you go the extra mile and start Stones if he's available, definitely. It's a tricky one. Tricky one. I still haven't quite figured out in my head. Yeah. Oh, yeah, it'd be so interesting. Yeah. And maybe it will just be as simple as like when Rodri comes back, he drops deep and plays as like a third centre back, even more so in like those earlier phases before then pushing up to the midfield. But yeah, we'll have to see. Pep's obviously got something in mind, hasn't he? Otherwise, he wouldn't be wanting him. So he's obviously got a plan.
Yeah. No. What did you make of the defence as a whole? Did you think it was quite good? I was surprised to see Rico in there after the news that Forest had tabled a £30 million bid, but he had a great game, as you mentioned at the start of the show. I thought he played well. Ait Nouri's one that's split opinion a little bit. Told me on Twitter was saying he was the worst.
Really?
Told me on Twitter, said he was comfortably the worst player on the pitch, which I was absolutely like, how are people watching that game and saying he was worse? First of all, worse than Doku, which is stunning. And saying he's the worst player on the pitch. I mean,
was that sincere though? Was he being serious?
Yeah, it was sincere, bro.
Right. I don't know what to say to that because that's just like wrong. I know he was fantastic defensively, to be honest, but yeah, he was really, really good. I thought he did everything that was asked of him. That there was like a moment or two where like I felt like Doku could have done slightly better tracking back, and so he was isolated sometimes, and he still did really well. That's odd to me. I don't know like what the numbers were defensive, but I felt like every single time he had to engage in a defensive action, he achieved it and did it really well. To be honest with you, I thought he was solid. I thought that it was a bit easier for him in that his starting position was a bit deeper. So he was obviously starting in midfield on ball, so it meant that there was less distance for him to track to get back to left back. But I thought his recovery work was excellent. I thought his individual defensive work was excellent. Yeah, if anything, I feel like if you were going to criticize Ait Nouri, you'd say he didn't offer enough going forwards, but that's because that's what Pep asked him to do and like play in midfield rather than push up and be a marauding left winger or rotating with Doku like we saw against Juventus. So that's nothing to do with Ait Nouri. That's a consequence of the system that Pep's deployed him in. I just don't really get that. I've not seen that anywhere.
Well, last 20 minutes of the game, I thought he had a lot of defending to do, and I thought he did it all very, very well. Last 20 minutes, there was a lot of balls getting crossed into his side. He was dealing with a lot on that left-hand side, and yeah, I thought he defended really, really well. Like I say, he didn't do too much going forward, but not that he needed to. We won the game 4-0.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was good because everyone was telling me that the guy was a crap defender. So considering that he actually defended quite well on Saturday, I was quite impressed. But I was just like shocked, man. I thought,
but even that's not true. Like the whole he's a bad defender. That just tells me that you've not watched Wolves, doesn't it? You've not watched him at Wolves or for Algeria. Like if you believe that he's a bad defender, because based on the available evidence before he joined City, he wasn't a bad defender. He was actually an above average defender. Now, was it like exceptional Ake level at left back? No, but like even that was wrong. So I wonder if people have it in their heads.
man.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, but he's not going to be that. Listen, Pep signed Ait not because he wants Ake at left back. If he
Indeed.
wanted an Ake at left back, he would have bought an Ake regen at left back. He bought Ait because he wants a player who's good on the ball, who can help him in, go into midfield, technical gifted, who can push forward, get crosses in, create chances. That's why he bought Ryan Ait. So if you're looking at Ryan Ait and go, oh, he's not as good as Ake defensively.
Yeah, you're a fool.
Fucking course he's not as good as Ake defensively. That's not what we bought him for, man. We bought him because Pep and obviously sporting director wanted to have a fullback who can get forward and play the passes, just like he did in the Club World Cup when he played that ball in behind for Doku, right? So I don't understand. I just don't understand why. There's no point in comparing him to Ake. There's literally no. But you've still got Ake. If Pep wants to play, I've seen someone on Twitter say we should play Ake against Spurs against Kudus. Cool, no problem. Yeah, you got two players now. If you want to go a bit more defensively, sound whack Ake left back. But we bought Ait for what he gives us on the ball and going forward. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm pleasantly surprised at how decent he was defensively against Wolves. Yes. I was expecting the worst, the way some people were going on about it. Honestly, bro, some of the people saying this guy's absolutely crap at defending. You're going to see real quick. So I was like, well, I've seen a bit of Ait. Yeah, I wanted to sign him, but I've not seen him every week. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, I'm not going to massively disagree because I don't know. So when I saw that on Saturday, especially the last 20 minutes when he was basically being bombarded, yeah, man, I don't really get it, man.
It's really weird. And look, there will be some games where he gets burnt and spun by a really tricky winger. But that's, again, this is like a game of sacrifices. No player is perfect and no shape is perfect. If you're playing Ake at left back, then okay, he's probably never going to get spun on a consistent basis, but you're going to sacrifice some offensive work. Vice versa for Ait. There will be some games where he gets absolutely spun, but then there'll be other games where he's able to maraud forwards and provide an assist for our striker or provide solidity in the midfield and control. It's a game of trade-offs, and it's not like Ait is a bad defender. Objectively, he isn't a bad defender. I'm not going to say he's a great defender, but he is clearly above average as a defender relative to his peers. So, yeah, I don't really get where that argument's ever come from, to be honest with you. Because I'm with you when people said, oh, he's a bad defender. I was like, oh, okay, well, when I properly scout him, like watch all these Wolves games back, I'm going to see a really shit defender, am I? And I didn't see that at all. Very odd. People are weird, though, aren't they? So, I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, all right. Big up Harsh says, I've done Adam Wharton scouting yesterday. Guys, he's fucking awesome. Let's go get him next season. Anyhow, and the midfield is crazy scary. Well, providing no one picks him off at the end of this transfer window, I'm absolutely certain City will go for Adam Wharton next year to replace Bernardo. I think he's a City player, he just looks exactly like a City player the way he plays football. So, but there are rumours that United apparently want him. So, and they need a midfielder. So, let's see what happens there. But if he stays at Palace, I think City guaranteed to go and try and sign Adam Wharton next season. Guaranteed. Shout out Pitbull as well. It says, still think Vinny is our next manager. 3rd trophy. Yeah, he did with another one. Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. He's on the list. He's on the list with Luis Enrique, Nagelsmann and co. So we'll see, man. But yeah, Vinny Company won another trophy. Oh, madness.
What a boy.
Trafford, any thoughts on him?
I liked him. Thought he did everything well. That offside shot that he still saved was brilliant. Commanded his box. Fantastic distribution for the 3rd goal. Really impressive debut. Very happy for him. Really good game. Didn't do anything wrong. Couldn't have asked more. Yeah, I was hoping that he wouldn't have to do as much work as he did. I thought, you know what I mean? But obviously it's first game of the season or whatever. But yeah, I thought it was so calm, wasn't it? Very, very calm. Not really any scary moments. Calm, commanding.
Again, his performance was boring in a very good way. I like boring from certain players. I don't want boring from like Cherky and Reinders.
No, sure.
But from certain players, my centre backs, my goalkeeper, I want boring. Yeah. And yeah, he just got the job done, man. A couple of decent saves. That save that he made that he didn't know was offside at the time.
Yeah,
comes
brilliant.
Rushing out, doesn't it? Makes himself really big. And then makes the save. That's a great save. I know obviously it was offside in the end, but he wasn't to know that. He was very, very good. And yeah, we'll see what happens now with this goalkeeping news, because Obviously, Pep Guardiola spoke. I don't know if you saw Pep's comments about Edison in the embargoed section of the press conference last night, but it sounded like a goodbye to me. I don't know if you saw it. Do you see it?
Yeah, I've in my head like Edison's gone and Donnarumma's already in. Like that's the way I'm viewing this. It's like definitely going to happen.
Yeah. But the news coming out, yeah, Fabrizio, I mean, it's a bit of recycled news, but I will bring it up anyway.
Is it olds then? If it's not new,
It's not
olds.
new. It's just sort of recycled news. But yeah, he's saying that Galatasaray bid 10 million euros. City want 25. So that is quite a gap.
Yeah, that's a big that is a quite. They've got a long way to go there.
Yeah, that is quite a gap. So, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen here? I mean, how much do Galatasaray want? Could City just go, you know what, we'll just lower the fee, get rid of him, and get Donnarumma in? Do you know what I mean? And I think, just how much does Edison really want to go? I think if Edison really wants to go, I think City will find a way to make it happen. But is he just sort of saying, "Oh, I'd rather go Galatasaray, but if you can't do a deal, don't worry about it. I'm chill."
It's
how
like,
desperate is he to leave? Is basically like, because I think if he goes to Pep or he goes to Viana or whatever and says, "Listen, mate, I've done my time. I want to move. I don't want to be here." I think City will be like, "No problem, mate. We'll get the deal done. We'll sort it out."
mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
It's like
he really wants to go.
I really want a Chinese tonight, but if we end up having pizza, like I'm not going to complain. So like that sort of energy. Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, that's the energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just feel like
Pizza
I don't
energy.
know. I don't feel like Edison strikes me at this moment in time as being desperate to leave. I think he just wants a new scenery.
I guess like worst case scenario for him is, well, I'll just wait a year and I'll go on a free. I guess would be like from his perspective, like the worst case. And maybe that's why he's not like gagging or desperate for a move, if that is indeed to be believed. Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah, we'll see. But it definitely sounded like a goodbye from Pep Guardiola last night in the embargoed section. It came out at 10:30 last night for people that maybe have not seen it. And of course, you've still got all the Donnarumma news. Apparently, City, I can't remember if Fabrizio said it's agreed or City and Donnarumma are like extremely close to like agreeing personal terms and shit. But yeah, it's dragging on, man. I can't lie, man. I fucking want this done. Are you bored? Are you not bored by this, Nobbins?
I was bored when it was first suggested. Like I didn't.
Yeah, you was really.
You know my thoughts on this. I don't care to repeat it, but yeah. No, yeah, it's. But you are right. Yeah, the uncertainty is like, who is my number one going into next season? Like, I feel like that is a position that you really need to have locked down. As soon as possible. In order to have some stability, because it changes. I think it changes things massively. Like going from Edison to Donnarumma changes things to a ridiculous degree in like how we set up going forward. So yeah, the sooner we can have some certainty around it, the better. Because I don't think that we can fundamentally play the same with both goalkeepers. I'm not going to say that one is better than the other. It's not about that, but it is about it being very different, and therefore I feel like you need to plan around that. And again, the sooner that happens, the sooner the players realize, okay, we may now have to play a different way, whether that's better or not is irrelevant. It's different. The sooner that happens, the better for City, of course. Yeah.
No, I agree with that. I'd still be signing him though. I seen a couple of people last night or Saturday after the game saying, "Oh, we don't need him. We don't need him." Like, it's one game, and he did play really well, Trafford. But if you didn't sign Donnarumma, if you for example, say you let Edison go, keep Ortega, right? And then you turn down this option to sign Donnarumma, and then Trafford ends up having a bad season. I think you're just going to think to yourself, well, why on earth didn't we just sign him? He's a treble-winning goalkeeper. So I think you've still got to sign him. I think for me, even though Trafford was good, and I thought he was really good against Wolves, I think you still have to sign him. I think you really do.
Yeah. I don't really. I think for me, it's hard. I think it's a risk no matter what you do. So it
is a risk. But all three options are risks.
That's what I mean.
Because the way the way Edison was playing last season in the Club World Cup, with all due respect, it would have been a risk to keep him in net this season. It's a risk to keep Trafford in net. It's a risk to keep Donnarumma in net. All three of them are risks.
I agree.
So there you go.
This is why it's tricky for me. This is why I'm not like, this must definitely happen, because in my head, Donnarumma is coming. So I'm not even really thinking about the other hypotheticals.
Yeah, when does this leave Ortega? Pep Guardiola just said in his conference, we need to find a solution. So
Yeah, there's obviously there's objectively no room.
where are the bids
for
for
him.
this guy? I mean, I've gone off him, yeah, I can't lie, yeah, but he's still a good goalkeeper. Where
Oh,
are
yeah.
the bids? And all the teams in the like Chelsea need a goalkeeper. He's better than Sanchez. United, fucking hell, they've tried all three of them. They're all shit. He's better than all three of them. Yeah, I cannot believe the lack of bids for Stefan Ortega.
No, yeah, like he's like he easily starts for I say like most teams in the Premier League, like certainly like an upper mid table one, maybe even one that like pushes for Europe 100%.
Weird. I don't get that really.
Very
He's not
odd.
even that old. I think he's like 31 or something, 32. So it's not like he's
Yes.
pure old.
Hey, he's going to give you a couple more very good years, yeah.
And you get him for cheap. City got him on a free transfer, so City could, City probably sell him for 5 million. I'll be real with you.
Easily, yeah.
We got him on a free. He's done his time. He helped us win the league. City be like 5 mil profit. See you later. Thank you very much for everything you've done. But not one bid. I'm extremely surprised at that. To be honest with you, I don't really understand it. But
yeah, there's no chance someone doesn't come in, whether it's Premier League or like another Bundesliga club. Like he's too good to not have a football club. That'd be mental.
Yeah, I saw some news saying Ortega is finding a club in Germany. It says shit.
Yeah, go back to the Bundesliga. Yeah.
You'd expect him to go up there, but again, the season's starting, so why have they not got him in already? It's just weird. It's just I just find it weird.
Yeah, I guess maybe City are thinking, I don't know. Well, I don't know what the Donnarumma situation is. No, actually, no, ignore me. I was going to say maybe City are thinking if Ederson goes and then Donnarumma doesn't come, you then need Ortega. But it looks like Donnarumma clearly is coming and wants to come, so that can't be right, can it? I don't know. Odd.
Yeah, no,
odd one.
Exactly, man. Smash these likes up if you've not done so already, guys. See what else you guys are saying. Need Rodrigo on the team sheet against Spurs. Not going to happen, unfortunately. It's too soon. Maybe Pep doesn't want Donnarumma. He clearly does. He clearly does want Donnarumma, bro. 100%. And fucking hell, Viana's not going to spend 20 million and put this guy on 250k, 300k a week wages if Pep doesn't want him. No way. No,
I tell you, the wages that are being discussed, 400k pre-tax, he better fucking want him.
Yeah, he does. And it's clear as day that Viana's got a fucking phone line permanent connection to Fabrizio at the moment, isn't it? You know what I mean? That's clear as day. And
yeah, I can't remember the last time like Romano was talking about City this much.
Nah, He's not been that great with it. Like whenever he's had City news, it's clearly come from the players' side, like all the time, and it's like been pretty rare. Like I know he was pretty early on the Vita Hayes news, wasn't he? That he obviously got that news from the players' side, right? But he's struggled really getting City news from City themselves. But you can clearly tell that Viana's just on the blower all the time to this guy, just giving him all the news and shit. And he's saying that Pep wants Donnarumma. Pep rates Donnarumma as top 3 goalkeepers in world football. Yeah. So yeah, it's good because like, we get to find out what's going on, but at the same time, like just stop recycling news all the time. It's proper annoying. So he goes, Big Will Anthony says, can we just get the players right now? No negotiation. We'll get the players right now, play them this week. Not going to happen, bro. Not going to happen because we play Spurs on Saturday. Yeah, we're still waiting on the Savinho deal to go through. But they've not even put the second bid in yet. Now, apparently, if you believe the news from the Spurs side, they are going to put a club record bid in for Savinho, which has got to be at least 66 million quid. At that point, I think City will be stupid to reject that. I really, really do. As much as I don't really want Savinho to leave, I think 66 million quid for Savinho is extremely good business. That's not going to get. So even if they put the bid in today, City accept it. Medical minimum tomorrow, Wednesday. It's just not going to. You're not going to be able to get rid of him and get Rodrigo in before this Thursday.
Also,
the Donnarumma one might be able to get done if you believe this Turkish guys because they're saying the deal's done. So it sounds like that's a little bit further across the line. It's going to be easier to get Donnarumma out of PSG because they've ambushed him. They've said no, see you later. You're not even in the squad. But the Rodrigo one, that ain't happening before Spurs, no way.
Yeah, and let's also wait to have played Spurs before selling them a player. Like we don't want to escalate things. Savio recovers from his injury miraculously, travels down to London, and then he's in the team against us on Saturday and gets an assist or something. Let's wait until we've played Spurs first, and then sell him to Spurs.
No, absolutely, man. Absolutely. Anything else from the game that you wanted to touch on, bro? Any tactical setup or any individual players?
I think we've already touched on the tactics, to be fair, yeah. We know that there's 2 key ways that we can get into this on-ball shape. One of those is to do the overlapping fullbacks. One is to do inverted fullbacks, and it was the latter stay. I guess you can also do a combination therein. It's good to see Ait Nori can play that deep. To me, it means that we should definitely keep Rico Lewis. I still can't really believe people wanting him to go, given our lack of options at right back, and he's a really good option. What else? It's amazing. Haaland scored a brace, and we're not even touching him once. So, do you know what I mean? Like, it just like goes to show how high his standards are, and hopefully how he's now like back, because like last season he was underperforming in respect to the finishing. Still scored a lot of goals, but we obviously need him to perform if we want to compete for the title. Thought he had a really good game.
Do you not think he looks like fresh in that?
Yeah, I think a lot of the players do. I think a lot of the players do, to be honest with you.
Maybe having this little really tiny pre-season in terms of like not spamming out games has actually been a good thing for us, because yeah, like you say, the players look fresh, and Haaland looks like I think back to the Haaland last year, and he just it's weird, man. He definitely looks fresh, and he said it himself in a City video that he did, and he said he feels really good. He feels really fresh.
Yeah, and Bernardo's spoken about how like the team are hungry, like how last season was unacceptable, all that stuff, and there's been allusions to certain bad eggs and that sort of thing last season who are now gone. So that's like a big like shadow / burden that's been relieved of that dressing room. Hopefully, it's better vibes leading to better on pitch dynamics as well. There's a lot of reasons to be positive, I think, going into this season. It's only early days, and it's only Wolves who probably will be in a relegation battle, but we struggled there last season, and we didn't score a goal last season against one of the worst Premier League sides in the world, Southampton. So I'm going to be happy with this performance.
Yeah. Just quickly, big up to, just tag me in this, NN, yeah? Big up NN on Twitter. Turkish sports media are now reporting that Galatasaray has reached a 2-year plus 1-year option agreement with Edison. However, Manchester City are waiting for the Donnarumma transfer first. They will allow Edison sale after Donnarumma is transferred. So
interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like from them they're saying no. It's Donnarumma. City need to get Donnarumma in before they let Edison go. So
yeah, I guess it'll be interesting, because you'd think that, because obviously he's not going to be a PSG player by the end of this summer. That seems pretty obvious. So I guess the question then becomes, at what point do PSG like crack? Because I think right now the rumors were being reported that they want like 40 to 50 million euros or something, which is obviously not. That's never going to happen. Certainly not with the wages that Donnarumma allegedly want. Allegedly, he wants wages that would make him the highest paid goalkeeper in the world, which is mad. So if you are going to do that, you can at least half justify it by making it like a borderline like free transfer sort of thing. You can go, yeah, we are overpaying on wages, but look at the transfer fee. It was naught or nominal, that sort of thing. So I guess it would just be like who blinks first, PSG or City in that instance.
I think it'll be PSG, because they banned him from the squad, bro. He's not even allowed to be in the squad.
That's what I mean. At some point, they have to surely accept that we're going to have to lower our asking price here. Surely, you'd think.
Yeah, I think whoever gets him will pay about 20 mil. I think it'll be about 20 mil, which I think is a good price for a 26-year-old goalkeeper who's experienced, won the treble. I think that's a fair price. Cool. All right, then. Big up to everyone in the building, man. Shout out to Nobbins. Make sure you guys are subscribed to his channel as well. Nobbins, you should get yourself over there as well. Any videos coming out? Anything?
I've done a Wolves post-match analysis. So if you want my more in-depth thoughts, go give that a watch. That was uploaded yesterday. I'll be trying to do one after every single match of the season, and I'm going to upload an Ask Nobbins today, like my Q&A series. So if you've got any questions for me that you'd like answered, go back to my previous Ask Nobbins, leave a comment, and I may answer it in the video.
There you go. All right, guys, big up, man. I've got a few coming on the channel later. I'm just confirming a time, just waiting for Amos to respond, and then when he responds, I'll get the stream scheduled. So yeah, stay tuned on that. It'll probably be a little bit earlier than normal, because I'm on Dan Potts' channel at 8, and I know a lot of people will be wanting to watch Everton because of Grealish is playing. So it'll probably be at about 6 or 7 o'clock or something, man. So just keep your eye on the channel. Just hit the notification bell on the subscribe button, man, if you're watching on YouTube. And yeah, we'll have Hugh and Amos on the channel later, hopefully. But yeah, big up to you guys. Smash the likes. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.